with this crazy sideways shit?
Hey, it's Peanut and Ice Cream Bar. So lately I have been noticing that it is my second semester, senior year. I have been feeling nostalgic a bit. Man, I remember when I was a second semester senior in high school, looking for what college to go to, and I mean at this point you probably already knew where you were going, and I have a cousin who is a senior right now, and I was talking to her over winter break and she was talking about getting into school and so on and so forth, and it just made me feel like and it made me want to make this video. Also, I haven't done a video with numbers in it in a while, so you know. Art school! I just want to say that this video is for everyone. People who are going to school for the first time, people who are returning, people who are, you know, adult students, people who are juniors and looking for places to go to school. I just want to have you back, okay? Because no one told me this when I was going to school, and they should have. So I'm gonna help you out. This is for you, alright? This is for you. So in case you guys didn't know, I was a fashion design major for my freshman year, and it was the worst thing I'd ever done in my life for various reasons. I'm not going to talk about that right now though. I switched to art in my second semester sophomore year, just to give you some background. Alright, first and foremost, if you are really unsure about, you know, having this as a career and about the department in general, definitely I would say take a few classes in this subject, in this case art, before you actually go in and declare that as your major. It's okay to go into college undeclared. I wish I had done that personally, but you know, I wasn't able to because the fashion program that I was in, you had to submit a portfolio. It was fairly competitive, so I was not able to just go in undeclared and decide to be fashion later because I was afraid if I really liked it, I wouldn't be able to do it in later years. So, huge regret of mine. Definitely, if you can, wait for at least like half the year until you decide, yes, this is definitely what I want to do. Now, this is going to seem like it contradicts with what I just said, but you also want to probably start as early as you possibly can. Not just because you want to improve as much as possible, but also because it is a little awkward to come in, you know, in the middle of the year, and for me, it was literally the middle of college. It was my second semester sophomore year that I went into the major. But also as well, you know, you want to be able to form relationships with your professors, and you want to be able to, you know, get as much practice as possible, put as much into your portfolio as possible, take as many classes as possible. So the earlier you can get started, the better. That being said, if you're really not sure, don't start immediately because you might have huge regrets later on. You will improve, so focus more on what you want to improve versus actually just improving. For example, if you want to be a layout designer for 17 magazine or something, don't spend 5 hours of your day drawing figures. Compile a portfolio for yourself at the end of every year or at the end of every semester, depending on how much work you've done. That is really going to show you like how far you've come, what you enjoy doing, what you don't like. The things that, I mean, obviously the things you don't like you shouldn't put in your portfolio, so it's really going to show you, you know, where your work is headed, where your interests lie, if you aren't sure, or if you thought you were really interested in one thing but it turns out all of the stuff you like that you're putting in your portfolio is from another class. I mean, it's just going to be really telling, and it's also going to be really great for you because in the future when you do have to create a portfolio for going to get a job or whatever, you will already have, you know, so many different little portfolios to select from. So it's kind of like a really nice editing process as well as a way to get to know yourself and your own work. Don't go to art school if you like art. That's probably a little misleading, so let me explain. If you like art, if you got an A in art in high school and you like going to Michael's and buying Mod Podge and doing do-it-yourself, you know, custom boots or whatever, that's awesome. That's really cool. That sounds like a great hobby. You should probably not go to art school though. Art school is for people who want art to be their career. They want to live with the money they make doing art stuff. And stuff that is a little more crafty, you know, that whole art versus craft thing. Stuff that's a little more falls into the crafty category, you can make money off of that. You can make a shop on Etsy or eBay, you can put that stuff up, people will probably buy it, but you probably can't live off of that money. If you want to live off the money you make doing some art-related thing, that's the people who go to art school, and you really have to love art. The crits and the workload and all the different classes you have to take along with core classes and social life and eating and sleeping, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and if you don't love it, you might end up hating it, and you don't want to lose a hobby because you went to school for it. Definitely learn about art history. Art history is not just a time capsule of a particular style or a particular form. It is also very telling about the political, the social, the economic, everything that was going on when that piece was created that art is going to talk about. I have learned more in my art history classes about the world in general than I did in my History 101 class. Treat your projects like they were your own idea. I know it's hard, and I struggled with this so much when I was, a younger student, especially in high school, but it's even more true in college. You have to approach every project that you're given like it was your own idea to do that project. I know a lot of the times you get a project and you feel like this is so dumb, I would never do this myself if it were my choice, I would never take this job, so on and so forth. But that is the stuff that's really going to help you work through your problems, because you're not always be able to pick all of your jobs and you have your perfect job. And not only that, it can help you actually get out of a creative rut if you're working on something that you're more interested in, that's like a side project. It's going to help you get out of that. It's really going to challenge you to do your best, and it's going to allow you to work around obstacles, like how can I make this project something I enjoy doing versus just a school project. Also, when you don't do a great job on a project and you go into class and everyone else did a really great job, it's super awkward and you feel bad because you're like, wow, I didn't care about this, so I didn't even try. Everyone else tried. Relearn how to fail. I get it. It's really tough. In school, they teach you failing is bad. When you fail, you get an F, your teacher's mad, your parents are mad, maybe you get punished in some way, you're penalized. It's really awful feeling when you don't do well, which is kind of troubling in the art world, and probably a lot of other fields too, because sometimes things that are new are first called things that are wrong because it's not the way we've been doing things, so it's wrong. But it's not really wrong, it's just new. But in art and in any field, you will eventually have failures. You will have many failures. Failure upon failure. And I don't mean failure like it was pointless. That's wrong. Failure is not pointless. Failure is a building block. You grow on failure. Failure is your soil and your roots, and then you grow up out of that, and your stem is pretty good stuff, and then you turn to a beautiful flower. It's really important to own your failure and love your failure and just go for it and do it and don't hold back, because you're not actually hurting anyone by failing. You have to remember that you gotta be bad at something before you can be good at something. Being bad at something doesn't mean you'll never be good. Being bad at something means you haven't practiced enough to be good yet. Which leads me to my next point. Practice all the time no matter what. And I don't just mean have a sketchbook, doodle in class, life draw everything. I don't just mean that because that's obvious. If you're an art student, you already know that. I mean practice your brain. Literally. Practice it. Because at the end of the day, it's not always about your technical skill. Sometimes it's just about your ideas. And to have good ideas, in my opinion at least, you need to be able to not just be a good observer of what's going on in your own world, but also be a learned person, also be a well-rounded person. Do more than, sit on your computer and watch Game of Thrones. Read books. Read everything from religious texts to physics books. Like, go places, experience different people. Literally, be a sponge. Soak up everything. When you go to class, if you're not interested in the class, force yourself to be interested in the class, because you will learn things and you will get ideas from places that you never thought were possible. This is so corny right now, but I am so incredibly serious. Finally, have something that calms you down that is not friendship or art. Art, I feel like, is obvious because obviously there will be times that are really bad and you will hate doing art and you will want to throw your computer out the window, burn all your sketchbooks, and you just want to get out of that mind space of forcing yourself to be creative and, you know, trying to come up with all these different ideas and putting things together. You don't want to be there all the time. Crafting is a good escape from that. That's sort of, you know, going to Michael's, making scrapbooks thing. That is really fun, actually, and it does kind of take your brain away from, like, capital A art. You know, any hobby, writing, whatever, collecting, baking, putting on makeup, whatever it is. Have something. And the reason I say not friendship is because friends are really great. I love my friends. Friends are awesome. But especially in college, especially if you're under 21, people have a tendency to want to always go out and be drunk, which is fine. You just don't want that to be your de-stressor, because that leads you down a slippery slope to de-stressing by being drunk, which, I mean, other than being, then that can lead to alcoholism, it also is bad because you're really tired in the morning, so you don't have time, you know, to get up and do your morning exercise and eat breakfast, and then you're sad because you're really tired the whole day and you didn't eat breakfast, so then you're really hungry, so then you get home after class and you're just like, I'm just gonna eat everything, but you're too lazy to cook something because, you know, you're just so hungry, you just want to eat right now, so then you eat like an entire bag of potato chips, and then you sit there looking at how you didn't eat breakfast and you didn't exercise in the morning, and you know, all the stuff you didn't get to do, and you just drank a lot and ate potato chips, and then you're just like, or, you know, you could be perfectly fine with that and just do that sometimes because, hey, that's pretty fun too. I can't say nothing about that. Art school! I guess overall I'd say art school is really fun, it's really awesome, it's a ton of work, so just make sure you're really sure that this is something you want to do for a career. And on that note, I am going to say goodbye! My short little stubby fingers. This is so ugly. Ugly hands. Ugly little tiny child hands. Ugh. Why am I talking about that?